Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to talk about two fairies. One about Aideen and her possible nemesis, which we might already have been fighting. And the other one a little bit about the Stormgarden. I was originally going to include these fairies with the quantum physics deep blue sky in autumn video. But then it was like 17 minutes, both fairies, and I thought it would be only like 5 minutes. So yeah, I decided to make it two separate videos after all. So I hope you enjoy the video and I'll see you again in the outro. So my first one of two fairies is about Aideen. I think Aideen has an opposite, as in a villain. Like if you have a really strong light, to maintain the balance there's also a really strong darkness, right? And I definitely think Aideen has that. But before diving into that possible villain or nemesis of Aideen, which is also our villain then, who we have to fight, well, assuming we are Aideen, but it seems the most likely scenario. I cannot confirm it, of course. It's a fairy going around the community. It seems so likely. But yeah, so my fairy does include that assumption. Either way, I want to talk a bit more about who Aideen was actually, remind us all. And some of this is quoted from the StarStableOnline wiki. So what we know about Aideen is that she brought Jorvik to life. She is a mythical being described as being full of love and light, worshipped by druids and Jorvik inhabitants. And I found this in the wiki that I didn't know anymore, like Aideen was actually a spirit, not a human. Because of that, she could not endure on Jorvik. When her time had come, she sacrificed herself by splitting her soul into two pieces. One went to the horses, the other to the island. She dissolved into the essence of the island and into the nature of Jorvik. Now I want to talk a little bit about her powers. So with her powers she creates life, her magical harp, the music that comes from that. She can heal. And according to the Soul Riders, the lightning circle represents her judgment, the moon circle her wisdom, the star circle her heart, which is also the healing part, and the sun her shield. So about Aideen's possible nemesis. What if that was like a male villain? Because if Aideen is a strong female light, then the darkness would be like a strong male darkness, right? If it's sort of opposite, balancing the scales. Could also be female, but I think it's male. And what if that nemesis of her, the dark spirit, a demon probably, what if he was like, oh, you created island, well, I want to meddle with that as well, to balance the skills. What if he then created the underworld of Jorvik, Pandoria, and then split his demonic form into like Garnock partially and everything from Pandoria, and that he then created the Dark Riders? That could all be possible. It sounds really plausible to me personally. I also think we have already been fighting him. I think I know who it is in the game already, because if we are like incarnated Aideen, then that dark spirit could also have been incarnated, right? I think it's darker, because he also has different kind of powers. We saw in the last quest, he does have powers of the sun circle too, then the dark form of it. He sent us to Cape Sorrow, interdimensional travel. He has that, with that lightning powers, fire powers, similar to Alex. He does have. He created dark horses, but he also destroyed. So he doesn't heal, he destroys, but he can also create like Aideen did. Yeah, he destroyed Elizabeth, Sob. That was such an emotional quest. Great. And so that is Star Circle, Dark Star then. And then we have Wisdom. I don't think he ever had any visions or anything, but he is really good at mocking. And I think he can sense your weaknesses because he mocks us right, like, oh, you're all alone now, you're not a real soul rider, you're fake. He mocked Alex a lot, and that could also be personality, of course, but I think he really can sense where your weaknesses lie. Like towards Alice, he was like, oh, with our tin can, you were just an angry girl from the street. And what else was there? There was another case of mockery, but I just don't remember now. Either ways, he's really good at mocking. And with the powers, the fire, the lightning, the sun powers, the interdimensional travel, wisdom, probably sensing weaknesses. And there was one more, destroying, creating. He could be our opposite. If we are reincarnated in Aideen, then he is whatever reincarnated dark creature there was in the past. Aideens Nemesis. That is my theory on it. I truly think, because Darko, he is also in another way opposite. Like Aideen is described as full of love and light, and Darko, well, we've seen his character. He's basically full of arrogance, resentment, and darkness. Total opposite. He seems more powerful than the Dark Riders together too. I think, at least one-on-one, I think he could defeat them. Maybe he could even defeat us. But I think our real fight is with him. He really is a threat. He already destroyed Elizabeth. Arista is a threat too, and the other Soul Riders. But he seems like a lot more serious. So yeah, I really think that Darko is the embodiment of Aideen's opposite, of her nemesis, that dark demon creature from back then that meddled with the island as well. Well, we have to wait and see, but if that is the true outcome of the storyline quest, I'm gonna be like, oh yes, alright. But yeah, time will tell. I'm really curious what you guys think about this. To me, this all seems very plausible, but maybe not to you, so I'm curious. Let me know what you think. Then the last fairy I want to talk about, her fairy, I have done some more digging into the Stormgarden, because I still wonder, like, why are the trees in the Stormgarden in autumn mode already? Well, it is actually only just spring in Epona. There's so little to find about that. All I found was stuff on the wiki. Okay, so I'm just going to quote this one old Stormgarden first. It's 2 different pages. The Stormhearts lived here until Harold Stormheart's wife passed away. Unable to live with the constant reminders of his wife, he abandoned the house and built a new estate in a different spot on his estate. Since then, the old house has been left to rot. Okay, so his wife passed away. Could she have something to do with it? And then there's also a newer article about it. First occasion in Epona that the player visits once Epona is unlocked. Alright. Okay, so some more from your Wikipedia. One of the oldest estates in the Harvest County is owned by the Lee families in the 13th century. They reside in the newly built house at the top of the grounds. Alright. Stormgarden is a farm owned by Lee Jian. A series of quests from Li Jian and his daughter must be completed in order to get a key to open the northern gates to Jarlaheim, the southern gates to Crescent Moon Village, and the eastern gate by Wolf Hall Inn. There are no quests besides the ones to open the gates there, and very little is known about Stormgarden or the family that resides there, besides the fact that they are also against D&D, like Herman and, well, us, the player. Okay, so yeah, I don't think the state of the Stormgarden has anything to do with this new family. I think it would have more something to do with the Stormhearts that actually used to live there. There's so little to go on here. It could of course be because of Pandorian magic. Maybe in that particular spot, maybe something happened there and that is still affecting the trees today. It could also be that there is some sort of leak or some weakness that Pandorian magic is leaking out of there. But it wouldn't not cause the trees to be in autumn state, I think, because I talk about this more in the 4 seasons of Jorvik video 2. The Pandorian magic interferes with Jorvik's nature, and that causes the flowers to be in full bloom, for example, all year around. In Valedale and Moorland, all the summer, spring parts of Jorvik. But there are seasons, because yeah, if you watch it, I talk about it more in that video. But there are different temperatures on Jorvik. Like in the autumn, it gets colder. Yeah, it is like you have on locations like Valedale is in late summer, Moorland is in spring, for example. Those locations, they are in that season all year long. But you also have the general seasons, and that affects the temperature and the water and the wind. So basically the weather, but not the environment. So you have actual winter, like we get snow, and also autumn, but nature just stays the same. Like in Golden Hills, it's forever autumn. That is because of Pandorian magic. So that is a little summary of how it works and how it is different. But so my first thought would then be that the Pandorian magic actually would cause these trees to remain in a spring state, because Epona is in spring. I explained all why in that video too, the 4 seasons of Jorvik. I have a few thoughts about it. Maybe SSO just wants to represent a sort of neglected area. Although the weird thing is then, Unfortunate Dew's Farm is also a neglected area, but there are not trees that are a season ahead, or almost a season ahead. Or perhaps Pandorian energy affected the place and it started to decay or something, or it remained in a decay state. That could also be the thing. Or could perhaps the spirit of the wife be affecting the trees there? Or the grief of the farmer, however he left already. So yeah, it's weird. There are a few theories, but yeah, it is really kind of weird why the trees are there like that. But yeah, Jorvik is all about magic and stuff. Maybe it really has to do something with the spirit of that wife, and or the grief of the farmer and the Pandorian magic. Maybe a combination of them all. Maybe something happened way back in the past that did something to the soil there. Few different options. It's really interesting. I hope we get some more information about Stormgarden in the future, so that we have more to go on. That was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm curious to your theories or thoughts about this as well. I hope you have a good day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Bye! Bye.